Yep, that's me falling off the bike, falling off a stationary bike because I needed to get off to try and repair my headphones as they were acting up and ended up twisting my ankle as I got off because I was in such a rush knowing that the race started in a few minutes that I was just moving faster than my body could. So, this is how we started this Rhino chase race, which was absolutely brutal. It is impressive how fast the C group went out. So I'm in the Cat C pen. Lots of people raced. I think it was 40 something, I think 42, 43 Cat C riders. And for it being my first chase race, I had no clue what to expect. Well, first official one. I did the Zwift Labs robot chase race, which was, the robots coming out. I think we're at like 5 watts per kilogram. And, you had to not let them pass you or whatever the case was. But, I was doing my best um, to try and get moving here. So we are kicking off here in about a minute or so, a minute and a half. And I am trying to readjust what I was. So my initial plan was to have the Rhino Discord group on my primary phone, and then have the ZMS Esports uh, channel on my secondary phone, so that way I can listen to the broadcast and know where everybody's at, and kind of keep that in one ear, and then the Rhino um, conversation group in the other ear. But that did not happen since my AirPods wouldn't connect. So I ended up just switching things out last minute. And that's kind of where we started. So here we go, setting off. And I fully expected it to be a hard lead out because, again, this is a chase race. The D category group was already out. They were 5 minutes ahead of us. And our goal was to catch them. And so, you know, getting into this group, leading out, you see my watts are in the mid 200s range. I ended up averaging for the first lap, I ended up averaging 250 watts with spikes well above 300 into the 400s. I think my max was like 414, somewhere around there, according to Strava. 'Cause I really wanted to see what I averaged per lap. So I used Strava to look up my power range and kind of manually, look at where I started, where the lap finished, uh, including the lead out, not including the lead out, just to kind of get an idea. But going through these hills, I did my best to stay with the group. My goal was to, as we're going through the hills, the ZMS Racing crew, shout out to Nathan and Holly, who had an amazing broadcast. We're talking about the goal for these chase races is to not only keep the group together, but for people to move up to the front and, take their turn off the front. So that way people, some people get rest, and then some people are pushing the group forward hard. But as you can see, I am struggling to even stay on the back of this group, and the group keeps splitting apart. We had a first main split there, and then, just holding on to here. And of course, the gravel sections and tend to add a little bit of extra resistance. So I'm doing my best to stay off the back here, looking at my numbers and, seeing that, hey, the pace is not being pushed that hard. And so I end up easing up to the front. And as soon as we hit the road, the pace just picked up super quick. You can see we're going 41 kilometers per hour. And at this point, I'm focusing on staying on the back of the group. My heart rate's at 170. I like I was in shock how fast um, not only my heart rate climbed, but how fast I was starting to get exhausted. And so my focus here is to stay on the back of the group. As you can see, the group is super strung out. The people that were in front were doing absolutely fantastic. They were pushing strong, which is what they should be doing. They were pushing hard. As you can see, I started to split here And so I knew I had a couple people behind me, a couple seconds behind me. So my focus was, let me push hard. I'll get onto the back of this group again, pull everybody with me, that was there, and then we rejoin and do my best to rest a little bit. I think that's something I got to focus on, is figuring out how to get better at kind of resting in the group and where to position myself to rest. And then, I obviously, do well pushing hard and getting off the front of the group, and, pushing off the front of the group. But I feel like whenever I'm in the group, I don't rest. I ended up sliding back and then having to push hard again to catch up. And so I ended up wasting a lot of energy playing that slinky game. And so here we go, going back through the hills on lap two. And as you can see, I'm slowly starting to fade off the back. And in this moment, I'm just ready to let them go. I knew I wasn't going to stay on. I'm at my max right now. Even though my heart rate's in the mid 170s, my thought was, if I can't stay with them now, there's no way I'm going to be able to catch and stay with them, um, on these, on the third and fourth lap. And so my focus was, let me, ease off the back. I will get over these hills and then see if I can start catching up again. But as you can see, they're 14 seconds ahead. And I knew at that point I wasn't gonna catch up. There wasn't enough downhills for me to catch the group. And so I caught this person and, decided to basically push along and essentially start creating my own group. And so every rider that we would catch, I was going to keep the pace going a little bit harder, try and stay within my FTP zone, so that way I can keep pushing forward. And again, this is a chase race, so the B riders are at this point already out on the pen, out of the pen and on the road. And I think the A riders might have just been released. So I'm doing my best to stay to, basically create a bigger gap as possible between me and the B group, knowing that they're going to catch me at some point. But, I'm doing my best to take not only this person with me, but and then catch the next person in front of me so we can start forming our own group. And that'll give us the ability to work better together. And it's, again, got to, caught this person, got to the backside of the volcano, climbing up this hill. This person, used their power up, so I used mine because my legs were hurting at this point. Um, and again, saw another person ahead, so decided to push a little hard and get that person into our group. And that was essentially the main focus from here on out, is work together with this group. Whenever I needed to ease off, I would ease off. I would essentially let them pull in front of me, and then I would just do my best to stay on their wheel, even though none of us communicated to each other like, "Hey, let's work together," which we probably should have. We all did do our best to stay as a cluster. Right now it's just the two of us, but as the laps go on, we do end up creating a little bit of a bigger group, especially towards the end. And so here we go, back through this, glass tunnel on our way back to the hills for the start of the third lap. And again, I'm doing my best to bring my heart rate down. I'm in the 160s right now, so that way I can, push to the end. I did want to, complete the race. And so here goes the B group coming up behind us. And the whole time I'm watching, I'm on my phone looking at where they're at, and then on as well as looking at on the map. I could not believe how fast they blew past us. I thought we were doing well in terms of this group together and holding strong, and they just blew past us. So initially I thought, okay, I'll try and jump onto the back of the bees and see if I can stay with that group for a little while. Maybe that'll help bring me back up to the C group. Not sure how, when they would have made the catch for the C group, but I figured they could help me get up to the C group, but that did not happen. They blew past me. And so again, just trying to find places where I can rest and recover a little bit, and then keep on the wheel of the people in front of me, as well as tow anyone who's behind me in that group. So again, we get here together and just continuing to push through to keep this group going forward. So back again, backside of the Italian villas, and down the gravel we go to the volcano. And so now we finally got this little group established, and I'm looking at the map and I see the A's are literally trailing right behind us. And so I was going to push a little bit harder to see if, again, we can use the group of the A's to pull us along, um, which is why I used my draft boost. I was hoping to kind of catch, grab onto whatever momentum they had and whatever, tailwind or whatever they were creating, grab onto the momentum they had and tow us forward, even if it was just a little bit. So that way, it gave me a chance to rest, but they moved by so fast, so fast. So, here we go again, just back up the volcano and, you know, trying to trying to bring this group, you know, keep this group together, but bring them along. Now we got these this A and B rider here, which I thought was pretty cool. That our group kind of turned into an amalgamation of different class riders, and just a reminder that no matter what class you're in, someone's always going to be stronger, someone's always going to be weaker, and I definitely was the weaker of the bunch for the C riders. And so I thought it was cool to have an A and a B rider here. We can all stay together, work together, and hope the A and the B rider kind of push a little bit harder, so that way we can kind of stay on their wheel and roll forward a little better. I did my best to stay at a good pace. I ended up averaging, for my first couple laps, I was averaging 40 plus kilometers an hour, um, which on Strava shows, I was averaging between 22 and 25 miles an hour each lap, which for me is way beyond what I normally ride at outdoors. Which I know, outdoor, indoor, there's going to be differences with not, Zwift indoors and riding outdoors with all the real physics and dynamics. There's going to be differences, but I usually don't ride that fast. My average is between 18 and 20 indoor and outdoor, and so riding between 22 and 25 miles an hour, I was shocked. So here we go again, back through the hills, and just again trying to stay with this group and you know keep keep this bunch moving forward. Obviously, some of the guys end up pulling off the front on this hill because I was doing my best to rest a little bit more on going through these hills, knowing that I had one lap to go, and I honestly was not sure where the race ended. So I don't know if I wasn't sure if we were going back into the beach side in Watopia and ending there, or where the actual finish flag was going to be. And so I was just trying to hold on to whatever energy I had, keep my heart rate, in the 160s ish, which is essentially where I can keep my tempo riding at. If I can stay in the 160s, I can, keep that power all day long. And so just working together here, I saw the A rider up front, thought, hey, we can, grab onto that person, and get together again. And that person just, it's crazy how fast the difference is in how fast from the gravel to the road. Like as soon as everyone gets on the road, they just like launch like a rocket. And so again, pushing hard here until I can't, and then I, ease back and let the group kind of pull around me. And I like you can from the beginning of this video to the end, you can see the change in the color of my shirt from how much sweat is pouring out of me. It was hot. Even though I had the garage cooled down really well, had multiple fans on me, I was just burning up because of all the energy output, all the work I was doing. So Knowing that we're going to be coming up to the end here of the lap, I'm keeping an eye on the bar at the top. With the lap meter, seeing 3.5 kilometers left. Like, okay, we're finally ending. I'm starting to think about where is this going to end? Where is this going to go? Are we going to go into the beach side of Watopia, or are we going to go somewhere else? And so I'm doing my best to stay with this group, keep, you know, keep, keep my watts down enough to where I can get some rest. But I know smaller groups like this, we're not really going to, we're not really going to, rest much, especially since I don't have the steering capabilities. So I'm not, I end up being pushed out into the wind often. And so catch up to the group again, and I ended up looking at the map and seeing where the rest of uh, basically where everybody else was going, and saw that we were basically going to the sprint, the bridge sprint. And so knowing that that was coming up, um, I basically let the group just start kind of pulling away from me, because I wanted to get some rest through these hills. And I thought, if I rest a little bit through these hills on that last climb, my focus was on the last climb, I'll catch them and then pass them on the sprint, because I still want to race at the end of the day, and I still want to, you know, get essentially, I don't want to end the race with the place that I'm at. So just continuing to push along, see that I'm still in 41st place. And I guess everybody else thought the same thing I did, because they pushed real hard on that hill and just took off. And once I saw that, I was like, all right, I'm done. Launched my arrow boost and just did my best to sprint across the bridge with what energy I had left, and finish the race here in 41st place for the Cat C group, which has basically put me at the bottom on Zwift Power. Even though there were 60 something riders in Zwift, not everybody was in Zwift Power. So I feel like I did well for my first real chase race. It was definitely a lot tougher than what I expected. And so now that I know what this is like and know that there are more out there, I will definitely be taking advantage of these to help me boost my fitness. So there you go.